ओम शांति शांति शांति। Namaste. Hearty welcome to you all in the Be with Yoga, Be at Home webinar series organized by Ministry of Ayush, Government of India in collaboration with 5 leading yoga institutions: the Art of Living, the Yoga Institute, Kaivalya Dham, Arham Yog Dhyan, Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, and is being coordinated by Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga under the Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Be with Yoga, Be at Home webinar series is one of the various activities being organized by Ministry of Ayush to mark the celebration of International Day of Yoga 2021 in a befitting manner. The program contained discourses and talks by eminent yoga masters, experts from these leading yoga institutions, and also practical sessions where they will emphasize on various dimensions of yoga and yoga practices, concentrating on the common yoga protocol which is being practiced across the globe on 21st of June in a very big manner. About the yoga institution, the Yoga Institute Santa Cruz, Mumbai was founded in 1918 by Yoga Acharya Yogendra ji, and it is one of the oldest institution, and it has celebrated its centenary celebration in 2018. Sri Yogendra ji's mission was to teach yoga to the householders. Mission was to take yoga to all the houses, ghar ghar mein yoga. He brought yoga from jungles to the householders, and he believed that householders can benefit immensely from the knowledge and practice of yoga. It's a little surprise then that Sri Yogendra ji is known as father of modern yoga renaissance. He is one of the prominent yoga masters contributing for promoting yoga, especially in the urban areas, in the rural areas. I do know that he is a proud disciple, Yogi Jaydev ji, now Mahamsa ji. They are taking it forward and making use of the media, television media, print media, now the social media, and truly they are taking, the institutes, teachers are all taking this yoga to the householders. Today we have a yoga master from the Yoga Institute, Yogi Dr. Dharmesh Sukhadia ji. He is a senior teaching faculty member of the Yoga Institute, Mumbai. He teaches major teachers training program, and his subject is in-depth techniques developed by Yoga Institute Santa Cruz. Dr. Dharmesh Sukhadia has been associated with this institute for more than 22 years, and he has more than a decade of teaching experience. Most importantly, I noticed Dr. Dharmesh is a very well appreciated teacher of the Yoga Institute. With these few words, I welcome Dr. Dharmesh ji, and I once again welcome you all the viewers. I hope so the webinar will definitely help us to enhance our knowledge, motivate us to practice yoga regularly. Dhanyavad, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Namaste. My name is Dharmesh Sukhadia. By the blessings of my Guru, Hansama, I'm here in front of you. Thank you very much for inviting me to talk on stress and how stress can be reduced through pranayama techniques, through yogic techniques. Thank you very much, Ministry of Ayush. Thank you very much, the Yoga Institute. And thank you very much, my mentor, my guru, Hansama. Today's topic on stress, breath and COVID. Since last 1.5 years, COVID-19 has put responsibility on us to take care of our own health. We are not monks that we can sit for meditation, we can do pranayama techniques for hours. Our life hovers between home and our work. We are all householders. We have to perform all the duties. And maintaining these duties, maintaining the balanced state of mind with these techniques of pranayama and to reduce stress is the biggest responsibility put on us by this COVID-19. It gives me proud to tell that Indian Council of Medical Research and the Ministry of Ayush in this tough time has given a call for Ayurveda and pranayama techniques, breathing techniques. And also it gives me proud to say that no other traditions in this world has such a structured breathwork what we have. Not only COVID, but in many more diseases, pranayama has become an important tool to cure conditions like asthma, pneumonia, COVID, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, musculoskeletal diseases even, and disorders of nervous systems. The research in yoga is in its infancy, but the Yoga Institute is paving its path on this research-based science. More and more advanced techniques are introduced to counter the effect of COVID. So friends, we are going to learn pranayama techniques related to pre-COVID, during the COVID and post-COVID techniques. Pranayama, if I tell you, the definition of pranayama itself is prana is the life force, bioenergy, and ayama is the regulation of this life force or the bioenergy. When we regulate the impulse traveling from brain to the important breathing muscle diaphragm, the breath is controlled. This controlled breathing, the regulation of prana, is pranayama. There are a lot of definitions of pranayama. People say, many school of yoga say, expansion of prana. It is also a restraint of prana. It is also a regulation of prana. All are correct. Pranayama, being the fourth limb in Ashtanga Yoga, It is an indispensable technique in mastering the whole personality. Before we learn the technique on pranayama, I would like to say something about physiology of breathing. And when we do a physiology of breathing, we need to understand three important set of breathing muscles that we have in our system. The primary breathing muscles are diaphragm and intercostals, and secondary breathing muscles are clavicle. When we breathe in, the diaphragm displaces downwards, it contracts, it flattens. When we breathe out, diaphragm assumes the shape of a dome, a shape of a parachute. So the movement of diaphragm is like this. It is inhale, it is exhale, inhale and exhale. We will learn these techniques, different techniques of pranayama to help people during COVID and post-COVID. And also, I will inform you about the preventive techniques for COVID. So hereby we start techniques on pranayama. So we are starting off with Kapalbhati Kriya, which is a cleansing practice. Kapal means skull, Bhati means to shine. We have sinuses here in the skull. These are all pocket holes, and we need to cleanse those things. Kapalbhati is a forceful inhalation and exhalation only from the upper portion of your lungs. We are not going to use diaphragm much. So all our awareness is at your upper portion of the lungs. So how Kapalbhati is done, we'll show you that. You have to sit in a meditative posture. You can keep your eyes closed, or you may keep it open in cleansing practices. But try to bring awareness on your lungs, upper portion of your lungs. So you are using only your throat area and upper portion of the lungs. For inhalation, exhalation, the movement is only that. Your awareness is only there. You are not moving any diaphragm. You have to put your hand first here and slowly start breathing in from your nostrils. You have to bring awareness here and inhale and exhale little forcefully by constricting your nostril little bit, and you will be able to breathe in and breathe out properly little forcefully. This is what Kapalbhati Kriya, it's a cleansing practice. Even you can do it with one nostril. So you can close one nostril, close your right nostril, inhale and exhale through left nostril for the 10 cycles. Inhale and exhale from the alternate nostril. And then inhale and exhale from both the nostrils. This is Kapalbhati practice. You should do this 3 rounds of 10 cycles each from the left nostril, 3 rounds of 10 cycles each from the right nostril, and 3 rounds of 10 cycles each from both the nostrils. So this will cleanse your nasal passages. Even there is some sinus problem, also it will take care of it. It will create little bit of heat here. So this is, even if you do not have COVID, even pre-COVID, even during COVID and post-COVID, this practice is useful. There is not much force of your diaphragm which is applied. We are moving on to the next technique. Now we are going to perform practice of pranayama. We'll first do the Yogendra Pranayam number 2, which is intercostal breathing. Then we'll do clavicle breathing, and then we'll do diaphragmatic breathing, and then afterwards we'll do sectional breathing thereafter. Pranayam number, Yogendra Pranayam number 1, which is deep breathing practice. So first we are starting off with pranayam number 2, which is intercostal breathing. So friends, we have 12 set of ribs. Inside the ribs there are intercostal muscles. When we breathe in through our chest, we breathe in through these intercostal muscles, and we need to expand our chest sideward, not upward. I will again repeat. When we do intercostal breathing, we will expand our chest sideward. The moment we increase our chest sideward, the chest receptors opens up and we breathe better. We breathe through those intercostal muscles. So, we'll do that pranayama with 3 inhalation and 3 exhalation, but we need to put our hands at the last manifested rib, which is our 8th rib. We have to put our fingers over there, anchor your rib cage with your thumb, anchor it with thumb, and hold your rib cage like this, and then as you inhale, expand your chest sideward. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So this is how intercostal breathing is done. This pranayama is good for our daily practice because this opens up our chest. Our chest muscles are exercised. Otherwise, we do not have any such exercise which brings chest muscles expansion so wonderful. So this way you exercise your intercostal muscles. This is good for those who are having respiratory problems. This is good for even asthmatics also. This was pranayam number 2, intercostal breathing. We'll move on to pranayam number 3, which is clavicle breathing. Clavicle muscles are not one muscles. These are secondary muscles, breathing muscles. Intercostal muscles are our primary set of breathing muscle. Clavicle muscles are our secondary breathing muscles. So we have a set of muscles like sternocleidomastoid, or then we have important breathing muscles like pectoralis major, serratus anterior. These muscles are used for clavicle breathing. This breathing is a shallow breathing. So, clavicle breathing, we are going to do it for 3 inhalation and 3 exhalation. Clavicle breathing, pranayam number 3, is the extension of pranayam number 2. So we'll first do pranayam number 2 and then we'll take our chest up. And we'll take our shoulders also up, which will aid our breath to go from upper portion of your lungs till the clavicle. So how it is to be done? First, you need to put your fingers below your collarbone, put your thumb behind your shoulder, and now you inhale through your chest and take your breath up. So it is like this. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. This is how pranayam number 3, clavicle breathing, is to be done. This is a wonderful practice for those who are having tuberculosis. Our majority of our stale air lies in this upper portion of these lungs, apex pulmonis, which is called. We have not breathed till here. That is why this stale air is still remaining, and this is the main cause of chronic cough and cold, bronchial infection and asthma. So by doing this clavicle breathing, we are trying to push out the stale air from our system. So pranayam number 3, clavicle breathing, is an extension of pranayam number 2. So first you need to expand your chest and take your breath up, shoulder up, and slowly exhale. 3 inhale and 3 exhale. So here come pranayam number 3, clavicle breathing. Now we are going to perform pranayam number 4, which is also called as diaphragmatic breathing. Diaphragmatic breathing is one of the finest technique in the pranayama practice. One of the beautiful pranayama that one should do it every day, as this pranayama reduces anxiety, reduces pain. How? We'll see that. When we are sitting in this posture, we are in a seated position, the movement of diaphragm is not that great. But when a person lies down on their back with folded legs, with one hand on their navel, while inhalation and exhalation in equal count, diaphragmatic breathing is very, very effective. So we'll lie down first, supine with folded legs. We'll put one hand on our navel, other palm straight facing ceiling, and we will inhale and we will raise our abdomen, and we'll exhale and the abdomen will fall. So you need to breathe in, breathe out from your abdomen only. There is rise and fall of abdomen. This pranayama is very useful, as slow and deep dynamic breathing of this practice can lessen the anxiety, can lessen the pain. There is a release of neuromodulators, brain chemicals. Because of diaphragmatic breathing, there is a release of brain chemical called endorphins. Endorphins are the neuromodulators which is responsible for reducing anxiety, reducing pain, reducing heart rate, and reducing blood pressure. So pranayam number 4 has a wide application. Also, there are a lot of anxiety related ailments like post-traumatic syndrome. One need to do diaphragmatic breathing because it releases endorphins, which calms, which brings parasympathetic tone, which brings tone of calm and relax, rest and digest. And the application of this particular pranayama is very wide. So one should do this pranayama on everyday basis, as the distension of the diaphragm, as the travel journey of diaphragm while lying down is so nice. When you breathe in slowly, when you give a little bit a higher count with slow diaphragmatic breathing, can really relax you, can really be a sleep inducing pranayama practice, and can really bring down the stress and anxiety level caused due to trauma. Also, the movement of diaphragm away as you breathe in slowly, the movement of diaphragm away from your lungs will bring in more volume of air in the lungs. So in that way, the lungs' vital capacity will improve. So now we are moving on to the master practice, which is pranayam number 1 with Ujjayi breathing. First of all, let me make you understand the concept of Ujjayi. Ujjayi means Vijay. Vijay on what? On what? It's a conquering. The meaning of Ujjayi means to conquer. On what are we conquering? We are conquering on our own kleshas. The kleshas which is operating within us. Through kleshas, we are conquering our own mind. And through our mind, we are conquering our own breath. This is Ujjayi breath. This is all about the philosophy of Ujjayi. But what Ujjayi exactly physiological? We have a structure called epiglottis just below our throat. A soft portion in our neck which keeps us alive. It is the structure which is next to our larynx, our sound box. It is an airway passage, or you can say a sensor which senses whatever we put it in the mouth. It senses. If it is a food, it goes into the esophagus, it goes into the stomach, and if it is an air, it goes into our lungs. So we constrict this airway passage. So there is a partial closure of glottis and we inhale. When we do this partial closure of glottis, there is automatically a deep breathing which is happening. We will combine this Ujjayi breath along with 3-part breathing, that is diaphragmatic breathing, intercostal breathing, and clavicle breathing. So in pranayam number 1, we are going to use all the 3 respiratory muscles. As we inhale, let the abdomen little bulge, transfer that air into the lower lobes, transfer it into the middle lobes, transfer it into the upper lobes, go till your clavicle and slowly exhale and descend your breath from top to bottom. So inhaling, you are going from bottom to top, breathing in right from bottom of your abdomen, breathe in, feel your lungs, feel every cell of your lungs, expand your lungs, expand your chest cavity to the fullest, go till your clavicle and slowly exhale and descend your breath from clavicle to the intercostals and then to your abdomen. This is how pranayam number 1 is done. But when we are combining with Ujjayi, it is giving a quadruple benefit, not a double benefit, quadruple benefit, as it aids deep breathing automatically when you partially close your glottis. So Ujjayi breathing itself is a deep breathing practice. So we'll inhale right from the bottom of your abdomen and then we'll close our glottis and inhale. So how it is done? Let's see this. Inhale, see this. We'll go from bottom to top. We'll just take 1-2 rounds without counting. We'll go from bottom to top using all the 3 respiratory muscles. All the 3 pranayams we have done. Pranayam number 4 using diaphragm. Pranayam number 2 using intercostals. Pranayam number 3 using clavicle. Now we will use all the 3 respiratory muscles, secondary muscles as well as primary muscles, and we'll breathe in deep. So hereby we start counting. We'll do 5 inhale, 5 exhale, contracting glottis. Here we go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how pranayam number 1. This pranayam is very useful during COVID, even pre-COVID and even post-COVID for the rehabilitation. This has to be included in our daily routine practice. That is what Hansama is always saying. That if you do this practice every day morning 10 rounds, your breathing for the whole day is tuned. The effect of pranayama is not for few hours. It remains there since morning till night you go for a sleep. That is the best part of the pranayama technique. This deep breathing is very much necessary because we don't generally use all our respiratory muscles. The invital capacity of the lungs of a man is 6 liters of air. And invital capacity of a lungs of a woman is 4.2 liters of air. We hardly use 10% of our lungs. By doing this pranayama practice, deep breathing, at least 10 rounds in a day, we are exchanging at least 3 to 4 liters of air during that time, which nourishes our lungs to a larger extent. So this was pranayam number 1 with Ujjayi breathing. So friends, we have done techniques even which is to be applied pre-COVID, during COVID. Further techniques which I want to tell you about is one of the most important technique is your Rechak pranayam. Rechak means absolute exhalation. It's a forceful exhalation. You have to empty your lungs completely. Yogendra ji, the founder of the institute, used to say this: if your exhalation is good, if you are able to eliminate better, if you are able to expel your air in your system, then you don't have to worry about the incoming breath. It is going to be 100% correct. So, one must learn how to exhale. In COVID, generally a person is not able to exhale. Even in asthma, even in pneumonia, the person is not able to exhale because the air is trapped inside. So exhalation is the key. At the same time, exhalation brings out carbon dioxide and water vapor. Exhalation is pacifying. Exhalation stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system. Exhalation stimulates your Chandra Nadi, your Ida Nadi. So exhalation is important. If you exhale better, there is no need to worry about your inhalation part. I am repeating this again. So Rechak Pranayam is designed in such a way that you need to inhale first, little hold your breath, and exhale for a longer period of time, and post exhalation do a Shunyak Pranayam. So the count for the Rechak Pranayam is: inhale for 3, hold your breath for 6 count, exhale for the 12 count, and suspend your breath, hold your breath externally for 3 count. Here the key part is that after holding the breath for few seconds, for few counts, say 6 count, you need to exhale 12 count, and that too very slowly you need to exhale. More slowly you exhale after holding your breath, better the distribution of prana. The more fast you breathe out post holding the breath, there is depletion of prana. So slow and dynamic exhalation is the key. So we will do this pranayama. Those with cardiac issue, those with very severe hypertension, they should check their counts. They should not exhale for too long, because the position of diaphragm during exhalation is near your heart and your lungs. So one needs to check at that time that one is not forcing the breath. So the count for Rechaka Pranayama is: inhale for 3, hold your breath internally in your chest for 6 count, exhale very slowly for 12 count, and Shunyaka, suspend your breath for 3 count. So hereby we start. We'll do 3 rounds of Rechak Pranayama. This pranayama is good even pre-COVID, during the COVID, and post-COVID for the rehabilitation. The more you exhale, more you expel, better your lungs become. So hereby we start the practice of Rechak Pranayama. 3, 6, 12, 3. Here we go. We'll do 3 rounds. Inhale, 2, 3. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Suspend, 2, 3. Breathe in, breathe out. Next round. Inhale, 2, 3. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Suspend, 2, 3. Breathe in, breathe out. Next round. Inhale, 2, 3. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Suspend. 2, 3. Breathe in. Breathe out. So there is better ventilation of your lungs. It is pacifying. One of the beautiful part of this pranayama is that there is a vagus nerve stimulation. Generally, vagus nerve stimulation will always regulate your blood pressure. It will always bring down your blood pressure. So this is a very good pranayama for that. It will also activate your sluggish colon, your sluggish stomach. All your abdominal organs get squeezed up. When you exhale completely, you are expelling all the air. You are squeezing up, and when you do Shunyak post Rechaka, that is more beneficial. And you have to gently inhale. The inhalation post Rechak pranayama will bring in new, fresh, oxygenated air into your lungs, and your lungs get nourished. This is one of the very important technique I would suggest for the post-rehabilitation of COVID patients. We are now moving on to the next technique, which is again a wonderful technique for reducing stress, for anxiety, and at the same time improving your lung capacity. This practice can be done only when you master the practice of pranayam number 1 and also Rechak pranayama. This practice is all about Ujjayi with Bhramari pranayam. For Bhramari pranayam, I want to say something. Bhramari means you are making a bee sound, a black bumblebee, a female black bumblebee sounds like a humming sound. You have to make a humming sound. That is Bhramari. Brahmar means a black bumblebee. Now, there are a lot of researches done on Bhramari. And one such research I would like to cite that there is a nitric oxide release in our body from our blood vessels, which is always there and which takes care of our immune system and cardiovascular health. To establish this correlationship between nitric oxide release and cardiovascular health and immune health, 3 scientists were given Nobel Prize in 1998. Why am I saying this now then? What is the correlation between nitric oxide and Bhramari pranayam or a humming sound? Again, there was one more scientist who discovered, which was a path-breaking discovery, that by making a humming sound, the release of nitric oxide in our body, in our system, is 15-fold more. It means that your immune system is strengthened, your cardiovascular health is improved like anything. We all have such a high potential to take care of our own health. And this COVID-19 has put responsibility on us to take care of our health. Nothing better than Bhramari pranayam combined with Ujjayi breathing while inhaling is better proposal. We will see how this particular pranayama is done. First of all, when you make a humming sound, you need to close your ears while making a humming sound. So first step is you will inhale through Ujjayi breath. The moment inhalation is complete, you will close your ears and you will chant Ma. You will make a humming sound like this. Once the humming sound is over, once you have exhaled completely, again inhale through Ujjayi breath. Here the important part is that while making a humming sound, you have to observe two important things. You have to be on your sound. That means you have to observe the texture of your sound. If the sound is vibrating, it means that your breath is vibrating. If your breath is vibrating, it means that there are some thoughts which are there which makes this breath vibrate. Again, this is the texture of the breath. There is called phrasing of the breath. Some people have a short inhalation, long exhalation, long exhalation, short inhalation. Here you observe how long your exhalation is. This is more of a rechak. So observe this phrasing of the breath. Observe your texture of the breath. Observe that the breath is not jerky. Breath is smooth. So the sound is also smooth. Expel all the air from your system while chanting Ma. While chanting Ma, become aware about the origin of the sound that you are your own self you are generating. This sound will calm your mind. This sound will release more nitric oxide in your system. And this sound will keep your immune system healthy. This sound will keep your cardiovascular health good. Here comes, we are introducing one of the most important practice in pranayama, which is panacea for all the imbalances, which is called Anulom Vilom. Before I start the practice, I'll tell you that this practice should be done pre-COVID, not during COVID, but post-COVID, definitely, for the rehabilitation. Anulom Vilom. Before I introduce this technique works mainly on our hormonal system, our endocrine glands. Before I start the technique on Anulom Vilom, I would like to say something on the hormonal system, because this technique influences our hormonal system at large. And important endocrine glands it influences. Important endocrine glands are pituitary gland, pineal gland, thyroid, parathyroid gland, thymus gland, pancreas, adrenal gland, and gonads. By doing this particular pranayama, it regulates the hormonal secretion from these glands. If our endocrine system is working well, my dear friends, then we are in a healthy state. If there is some problem with, for example, with the thyroid gland, then there are a lot of diseases, lot of conditions that we develop in our body which is not conducive. to our mind and body both. Anulom Vilom checks this and helps to release all the hormones which is required by our body. Hormones are chemicals that flows in our blood. Anulom Vilom is also called as panacea for all the imbalances. It not only influences respiratory cardiovascular system, it also influences nervous system, our lymphatic system and immune system in whole. We have three important nadis in our body, that is Chandra Nadi, Surya Nadi. Ida Nadi is a Chandra Nadi, Surya Nadi is a Pingla Nadi, and when both these nadis get arrested, it flows into a central channel which is called as Sushumna Nadi. When we breathe in through our Ida Nadi, left nostril, our right brain is stimulated. When we breathe in through our Surya Nadi, that is right nostril, Pingla Nadi, our left brain is stimulated. Right brain is responsible for our intuitive skills, our creative skills, our spirituality. Our left brain is responsible for our logic, mathematics, calculations, science, physics, analytical ability. In Anulom Vilom, we inhale and exhale from the alternate nostril, and at the same time we hold our breath. We do internal retention of the breath also, which stimulates our brain, and we do external retention of the breath also. So Anulom Vilom is a master practice that includes Yogendra Pranayama number 1, 5, 6, 7, 8 and also Pranayama number 4. So this is a culmination of all the techniques what we have learned, and this is one of the best technique that one can do pre-COVID as a preventive practice and post-COVID for a rehabilitation. During COVID it is not indicated because during COVID time it is not good to hold your breath. During COVID it is good to exhale and expel more and do a deep breathing and try to inflate your lungs. So how this technique is done? First of all, before we do this technique, I would like to say this is we will maneuver the fingers, we'll maneuver the nostrils with our mudras. This mudra is called Pranava Mudra or a Vishnu Mudra. Both first and the second finger are kept inside, and we will close our first left nostril. We will do a Shunyak, and then we'll inhale from the right. We'll close both the nostrils. We'll exhale from the left. We will inhale from the left. We'll close both the nostrils and hold our breath and exhale from the right. This is the half round. Now we will start inhaling from the left nostril, but before inhaling from the left nostril, we will do Shunyak again. Inhale from the left, close both the nostrils, exhale from the right, inhale from the right, close both the nostrils, exhale from the left, and lastly do Shunyaka and leave your breath. So, this is how Anulom Vilom is done. In that, there are 3 Shunyakas. One is in starting, one is when you change from right nostril to left nostril, and one is at the last. There are 3 Shunyaka. There are 4 Kumbhakas. Whenever you inhale, thereafter you immediately hold your breath, closing both the nostrils. So 4 times we do Kumbhaka. It's a wonderful practice. We'll practice this 3 rounds. The count, I would suggest to start with 3, 3, 6, 3. Then, once you master this practice, you can increase count after 15 days with one more count, 4, 4, 8, 4. Once you master that, after 15 days, increase by one more count, 5, 5, 10 and 5. And the highest count is 6, 6, 12 and 6. So, let us start this practice of Anulom Vilom, which is a wonderful practice, a preventive technique for COVID and post-COVID rehabilitation. But post-COVID, one should take care that don't do any higher count immediately. Slowly and gradually you have to increase the count. So hereby we start. Take your right hand, last 2 fingers, close your left nostril. Shunyak for 3 count. 1, 2, 3. Inhale from right. 1, 2, 3. Close both the nostrils. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale from left. 1, 2, 3. Inhale from left. 1, 2, 3. Close both the nostrils. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale from right. 1, 2, 3. Shunyak. 1, 2, 3. Inhale from left. 1, 2, 3. Close both the nostrils. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale from right. 1, 2, 3. Inhale from right. 1, 2, 3. Close both the nostrils. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale from left. 1, 2, 3. Shunyak. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in, breathe out. So friends, this was the technique of Anulom Vilom, a master practice. This practice balances entire immune system of our body. And our immune system is not just one system. It consists of lots of systems. So, it consists of respiratory, cardiovascular, nervous system, lymphatic system, integumentary system, digestive system, endocrine system. Friends, we are going to learn the technique of Om. Well, Om is all about happiness, all about love, abundance, and absolute bliss. Om is a journey from external to internal and internal to deep within. There are different ways to chant Om, and technique consists of 3 different ways in which we can chant. The first is, the chanting is a gross chanting. We open our mouth, we chant O and then Ma. So it is like this. You need to take a deep breath. Om. where O is less, Ma is more, but you are opening your mouth when you chant Om. The next technique, where O is silent, you will not open your lips. Your mouth will be closed. You will chant O silently within, and you will only chant Ma. So there is only manifestation of Ma chanting. So it is like this. Take a breath in between, because it's a Rechak pranayama. It's a complete exhalation. The third way to chant is, there is no sound. You are chanting within. You are chanting inside Om. The third way to chant, that you only know, there is no extraordinary sound, there is sound, very subtle sound which is inside within you. You only know that you are chanting. Again, the chanting can be short chanting, less than 3 seconds. The chanting can be a medium chanting, between 3 and 10 seconds. And there is long chanting, more than 10 seconds. Om chanting is a wonderful practice. By chanting Om, you are reducing a stress to a larger extent. There is one structure in our right brain which is called amygdala, which is responsible for producing stress in our body. When you chant Om, when you visualize Om, when you visualize the light of Om while chanting Om, it pacifies, it reduces the stress level to a larger extent. It acts on this particular organ which is called amygdala. So let us chant Om. Om can be chanted in different number of times. You should chant Om 9 times, 12 times. You can chant Om 36 times. You can chant Om 27 times. Chant Om 54 times. Chant Om 72 times, 108 times. Chanting of Om will release a lot of pent-up emotions. Om is called Udgit Pranayama. Ud means spontaneous, Git means sound. It's a spontaneous sound which has come up from our heart, Anahata. It is also called as Anahata, unstruck sound. Every sound in universe occurs because of the friction. This sound is unstruck sound. So, we'll chant Om 3 times. First, O and Ma more. O silent second time and Ma more. And then very subtle chanting of Om. Start. Hereby we start. Inhale. Om. Gently open our eyes. Friends, all these techniques will help you during COVID and also post-COVID. And of course, these pranayama techniques are always a preventive techniques. So I wish and I hope that you will practice these pranayamas, including the cleansing practice that initially what we did, Kapalbhati, the way in which it is taught by founder and expanded by Hansaji. So friends, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ministry of Ayush. On behalf of the Yoga Institute, you have given me this opportunity to present few techniques of pranayama and kriyas which may help you in future. Thanks again to my Guru who put faith on me to present this technique in front of you. My dear friends, please do take care during this pandemic time. Do practice these techniques regularly. Even though you are not affected by COVID, this technique will improve your immune system, will take care of your health at most. Thanking you once again. Gratitude to all of you.
Good evening everyone. Honorable Minister, Ministry of Ayush, Ministry of Sports, respected Secretary Sir, respected Joint Secretary Sir, Ministry of Ayush and respected Director MDNIY. Our most valued today's invited speaker Sri Dharmesh Sukdia ji, a senior member of leading faculty at the Yoga Institute Mumbai. I, on behalf of MDNIY, the supporting team, whole fraternity, on my own behalf extend a warm sincere thanks to the speaker of his event, sharing his experienced opinion on pranayama to strengthen mind and body. Sir explained all the aspects in a very beautiful and simple way. We are very much thankful for such a great talk. Thank you very much, sir.